November 24th, 1971. The day before Thanksgiving. Airports are crowded. Families are traveling. Nothing seems unusual. A quiet man in a suit walks into Portland International Airport, buys a one-way ticket under the name Dan Cooper, and boards Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305. A few hours later, he would commit one of the most daring crimes in American history. Parachute out of a plane with $200,000 in cash and disappear forever. More than 50 years later, no one knows who he was. No one knows if he survived, and no one knows where most of the money went. This is the story of D.B. Cooper, the only unsolved skyjacking in U.S. history. It was a rainy afternoon in Portland, Oregon. The man who called himself Dan Cooper looked ordinary, mid-40s, around 6 feet tall, calm, polite, well-dressed in a dark suit, white shirt, black tie, and carrying a briefcase. He paid $20 in cash for a one-way ticket to Seattle. No ID required, no security checks. This was 1971, long before airport security became strict. He boarded the plane with 35 other passengers. No one suspected anything. He took seat 18C at the back of the aircraft, ordered a drink, bourbon and soda, and waited.
Shortly after takeoff, Cooper quietly handed a note to a flight attendant named Florence Schaffner. At first, she thought it was a phone number. She put it in her pocket. Cooper leaned forward and calmly said, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." She opened it. The message was simple and terrifying. "I have a bomb in my briefcase. I will use it if necessary. I want $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck ready in Seattle." He then opened his briefcase slightly. Inside, she saw red wires, batteries, and cylinders. It looked real, very real.
What made Cooper different from most criminals was how calm he was. He didn't shout, he didn't threaten people, he didn't panic. He just sat there, smoking cigarettes, sipping his drink, and giving instructions. He even told the flight attendant to sit next to him so he could quietly explain his demands. Meanwhile, the pilots were informed. Authorities on the ground were contacted, and the FBI began preparing the ransom. The plane circled in the air for nearly 2 hours while police gathered the money and parachutes. On the ground in Seattle, officers rushed to collect $200,000 in $20 bills. 4 parachutes. Every bill was photographed so they could track the serial numbers later. When the plane landed in Seattle, it was already dark and raining heavily. Passengers had no idea what was happening. One by one, they were released safely. Cooper stayed behind with the crew. The money and parachutes were delivered. He counted the ransom calmly. Then he made his next move. He ordered the plane to take off again. This time, his instructions were very specific. Fly toward Mexico. Keep the altitude low. Fly slowly. Leave the rear stairs unlocked. He wanted the plane in the air, and he had a plan. Somewhere over the forests of Washington state, at around 8 p.m., Cooper told the flight attendants to go into the cockpit and close the door. He was now alone. Minutes later, a warning light flashed in the cockpit. It showed that the rear stairs had been lowered. Then the plane suddenly shifted. The pilots felt it, but they kept flying. Somewhere in the darkness, in freezing rain, at night, over rough wilderness, D.B. Cooper jumped. He took $200,000 in cash, a parachute, and disappeared into the storm. No one saw him jump. No one knew exactly where he landed, and he was never seen again. The FBI launched one of the biggest investigations in its history. They searched forests, rivers, mountains. They used helicopters and hundreds of officers, but they found nothing. No body, no parachute, no clothing, no money. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. The FBI gave him the name we know today, D.B. Cooper, after a newspaper reported the wrong name by mistake, and the name stuck forever. Over the years, people have asked one big question. Did Cooper survive the jump? Some experts say no. Think about it. It was night. Heavy rain, freezing temperatures, strong winds, rough forest below, and Cooper wasn't dressed for survival, just a suit and loafers. It was an extremely dangerous jump. Many believe he died that night in the wilderness, but others believe something else. They say Cooper was too smart. He knew about airplanes. He knew exactly how to control the flight conditions. He even chose multiple parachutes to make it look like he might take a hostage, forcing authorities to give him real parachutes instead of fake ones. This suggests planning, experience, possibly military training. Maybe he survived. For almost 9 years, nothing was found. Then in 1980, a young boy was digging in the sand near the Columbia River, and he discovered something shocking. Bundles of cash, old, damaged, buried. When investigators checked the serial numbers, it was Cooper's money, about $5,800. But that raised more questions. How did the money get there? Did it wash down the river? Did Cooper bury it? Did he die nearby? No one knows. And the rest of the money, over $190,000, has never been found. Over the decades, the FBI investigated hundreds of suspects. Some were criminals, some were ex-soldiers, some were ordinary men reported by family members, but none could be proven to be Cooper. In 2016, after 45 years of investigation, the FBI officially stopped active searching. They admitted the case may never be solved. What makes D.B. Cooper so fascinating? He didn't hurt anyone. He stayed calm. He vanished without a trace. It feels like something out of a movie. A man appears from nowhere, pulls off the perfect heist, and disappears into the night sky forever. Did he die in the forest? Did he escape and live a normal life? Did he tell someone his secret before he died? We may never know. Somewhere out there, maybe in an old attic, in a hidden box, or buried in the woods, there could still be clues waiting to be found. And maybe, just maybe, one day the world will finally learn the true identity of the man who jumped out of a plane and became a legend. D.B. Cooper, the hijacker who vanished into the sky.